Welcome back to Theresa's Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised. But if you're not, I don't know why I need to do that, but hey, if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to exit out the video here. No harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. Why hello darlings, welcome to Dead Mess, where I try my best to post every day. It's been a struggle, but here we are chugging along. Choo choo bitch, choo choo. So I made a video last month talking about gross makeup packaging. And in that video, I asked people if they would be interested in seeing a top 10 ugly makeup products from 2021. And well, here we are. I love roasting, I love toasting. And these are in no particular order. Perhaps they can all get a first place trophy in disgustingness. But before I get all Andy Rooney, a word from today's sponsor. I have been using HelloFresh for years, and it started when this garbage baby decided I would learn more than just cooking eggs and Trader Joe's gyoza. While that sounds like a fantastic diet, I like breaking up the monotony. And instead of having a fun panic attack about how many ingredients I should use, HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients mean there's less prep for you and less wasted food. And that's what I enjoy about HelloFresh, is that it's not just for dinner, it's for all meal occasions. And you can increase your HelloFresh box serving so you can easily use leftovers for lunches. So if you're new in the kitchen, rest assured HelloFresh will be holding your hand the whole way, baby. But what I love about HelloFresh is their HelloFresh Market. It features a variety of add-ons for breakfast, desserts, and seasonal snacks, like holiday cheese and charcuterie boards or Pillsbury snowman cookies. Aww. So while you're hosting family this holiday season, at least a cheese and charcuterie board will distract everyone from your poor wine choices. And that's not all. HelloFresh makes the holidays easier. Weekly delivery is made to help you cut back on meal prep and cleanup. And their limited edition holiday hosting box delivers everything you need to cook up a family feast. No planning is necessary. Just make sure you add that box wine. Your aunt's gonna be looking for it. In any case, if you're interested in checking out HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com and use code Theresa'sDead14 for up to 14 free meals and 3 free gifts. Again, head over to HelloFresh.com and use code Theresa'sDead14 for up to 14 free meals and 3 free gifts. Thank you, HelloFresh, for sponsoring today's antics. Okay, listen. I think I can easily say one of the most unsettling things to come out of 2021. Actually, let me rephrase that. 2021 has been wild. But in regards to makeup products, KKW thought it would be a really great idea to release bottles of flesh. I mean perfume. So I'm not entirely sure why this is a thing, but it is, and this is what I imagine Sephora in hell would serve. And I feel like if you do look at it long enough, it's gonna start to twitch and shoot out pus. Now listen, my nose legitimately doesn't work. And when I try to smell things, I often associate them with a memory. Sometimes it could be the sadness of a woman eating tropical yogurt in a bathroom, or the smell of a back seat in a Dodge Neon. If you know, you know. Anyway, I think we can all agree that the perfume probably smells like a serial killer's crawl space. Not today, Satan, not today. So I'm not sure why this was released, but it was, and people did buy it. And if they did, all I know is that they should be on a list. That's all I'm saying. The next product is from NARS. NARS released a bronzer in the most delectable shape. An asshole. It's actually funny to think about it. NARS, a company whose cosmetics are so boring that they have to jazz it up with overly sexual names. Again, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. I don't think anyone on that team fucks. But that changed. Why, you ask? They released a bronzer that legitimately looks like an asshole. Now listen, I've seen my fair share of assholes. You'd be surprised to see what's in a Subway, both underground and the restaurant. And honestly, I can't believe they released this. Like, how did nobody on that team? Well, no, it makes sense because they don't fuck. Okay, got it. And listen, I know this is the worst list, but you know what? Maybe I'm secretly proud of them. Actually, maybe I am, because ever since I have not purchased it, but ever since that one, it kind of made me like, I don't know, like look at them a little bit and be like, well, yeah, maybe I should try something. And I have since purchased a few products, some amazing, some not so much. But I start to question, did I get swayed by a prominent asshole? A rosebud, if you will? I fucking did. And that's a lot to unpack. But anyway, this deserves to be on this list, but also a round of applause. So the next product is from HIPDOT. How can we have a list and not have HIPDOT on it? HIPDOT is a makeup company that knows how to make money in this strained economy, and that's throwing nostalgia at sad geriatric millennials. And I know because I fell victim to it. HIPDOT has had a lot of questionable releases, from the forgettable Kesha palette, to the Ouija board, Tapatio, the multiple My Chemical Romance collections. I mean, come on, really? But I think the one that takes the cake is the collection with Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty has been slutting it up this year with many brands, and for the most part, some of those collections are pretty cute. Looking at you, ColourPop, but I wouldn't get too excited because you're also on this list. But you did good with Hello Kitty. But when HIPDOT released this abomination, what the fuck were they thinking? Not only does the color story not scream Hello Kitty, but what the fuck is that nightmare fuel clutching the palette? What is that? I'm sorry, I don't remember taking acid. So from the weird specimen plastic bag that they call a makeup bag, to an eyeliner and mascara duo, and a heart-shaped sponge, to this overpriced Wet n Wild palette that has pops of shit and cat piss. This could have been yours for $74. You're welcome. But this is fucking ugly. Hey kids, who wants to have an anxiety attack? You do? Well, let me tell you about my friend NYX. NYX teamed up with Theresa to release this 80 pan palette for $45. Let that sink in. I remember the good old days of NYX. Was there good days? Maybe I'm being too generous. I don't really understand the connection between the two, and perhaps maybe if they grouped the shades in more of a monochromatic fashion, or made it look like fucking Tetris pieces, that could have been a big fucking clue. But they didn't. Instead, they picked up one of those random palettes that you find on Amazon, 100 colors for $5, where I'm pretty sure Asbestos has more pigmentation than this shit. But hey, it was $5. That's a steal. So the fact that they're charging $40 more for this, a palette that pretty much resembles those laser backgrounds you could find in every fucking school picture from the 90s, is fucking bananas. This is ugly. Fuck ugly. But hey, at least they stay relevant with garbage releases. Good for them. The next disgusting palette is from Floss. I don't know what's going on with them. You would think the company would hire a graphic designer for the packaging instead of making the overworked intern use a fucking template as a placeholder. But who am I? I can easily talk about the I Love Cherry palette or the Sakura palette, which pretty much looks exactly the same, down to the unfuckable Helvetica font. Or the I Rushed You. Who the fuck is greenlighting these ideas? Sure, the color stories are fine, but when you wrap it in disgusting packaging, don't be surprised if nobody buys it. I feel like, in ways, Floss purposely doesn't take pictures of the fronts of their palette so that they can try to make some money. And hey, listen, if you think I'm lying, go to Sephora and try to look for the fronts of these palettes. They are very fucking hard to see. And I'm pretty sure they know. They know it's shitty. And instead of doing something about it, they just choose not to shoot the front of it. And to that, I say, touche. Touche. So I don't have one, but I technically have two MAC collections in this list. First of all, the Max X Sims collection. Hands down, has to be one of the laziest fucking things I've ever seen. And I know we just talked about Floss and their overworked intern, but I think MAC takes the cake. And I'm pretty sure the person responsible for this decision has to be someone in a high-paying position. Only assholes in charge make choices like this. And this is a fucking choice. How can you take an already existing palette that is legitimately described as a shimmering smoky brown palette that creates limitless looks for all skin tones and pair it with a game where you can look like a fucking alien, green skin and all? Ma'am, I'm sorry. Come again? Are we looking at the same palette? My shit has more dimension than this palette. Corn niblets and all. Nothing screams more cash grab than this fucking palette, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But then they released the Cruella de Vil collection. And listen, this kind of like bleeds into my next point of, I think probably majority of the ugliest things that have come out this year have been Disney collaborations. And MAC releasing this eyeshadow palette is awful. And I know I said it in my last ugly video, but I firmly believe that this is the palette that's waiting for you in purgatory. So you can spend your days with wacky pans and negative space and wish to God that you were in hell. But that's not all. We also have our Lord and Savior ColourPop to join us in this category. The Hocus Pocus collection was a fucking joke. And listen, I don't like Hocus Pocus, and I usually wouldn't give two shits, but I think what was really fucking annoying about this, the palette was a literal dupe for an already existing palette. They just cut out a piece of it. So ColourPop is already kind of giving us that Max Sims energy. Love it. But then what's incredibly off-putting is the actual artwork. The same artwork that can be found on countless items, but most notably found in plastic cups in Target. Kind of which really tells me that they really just didn't give a shit, that they just kind of just spit two things together just to make more money. And they could really care less about the fucking design of it. But that's not enough, okay? I feel like the worst offender for the Disney collaborations have been Ulta. Ulta really doesn't give a shit about anything. And I feel like they often don't even really research who they're making collaborations with. For example, let's look at the Pixar collection. What is this? Who is this for? No, seriously, I'm asking. Other than slapping a picture of the fucking movie on it, how are these related? I said it once and I'll say it again. I can always count on Ulta to do the bare minimum to get a paycheck. And honestly, the same goes for MAC as well as ColourPop. And speaking of bare minimum, I guess we could also talk about Makeup Revolution. Now, Makeup Revolution has collaborated with a lot of weird shit this year. And I don't know what I hate more, the fact that they collaborated with Friends or the fact that they did it 95 fucking times. Either way, the collection just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Hands down, yeah, I'm gonna say it. Friends is one of the worst shows ever. It is not cute. It is not funny. It's fucking annoying. Yeah, I said it. Cancel me, it's fine. And I think what was so incredibly lazy about that whole set is that each collection, the only thing that would change, because all of the palettes started to look the same, the only thing that changed was the picture of the fucking set on the palette. And nothing remotely matched the color story to the picture. It got to the point where it felt like Groundhog's Day because each release looked exactly the same and it wasn't cute. It was a copy and paste color story, except they would just slap on a new grainy fucking picture that I'm pretty sure that they screen grabbed from a rerun on TBS. But even more than that, they could have done something really cute with some of the iconic pieces. Like, for example, they could have used the fucking turkey as a hand mirror. Really? Like, no, we're not doing that? Okay. We're gonna make it a fucking palette that nobody cares about? Sure. But in true Makeup Revolution fashion, why make something cool when we can do the bare minimum? Yikes. So next thing that was pretty fucking ugly is from Makeup a Murder. Listen, I don't have a bad thing to say personally about the color story. I think it's cute as fuck. But when you hear the palette name, you have an expectation because it's called the burner phone. And what makes me cringe is the execution. The Fisher-Price My First Phone packaging and the fact that the color story is just so off-putting for something that is called a burner phone. If you're using a burner phone, you're not looking to stand out. You're not running around the streets after you bludgeon someone with a phone that looks like there's gum inside of it. So I'm really confused about the story here. And why is the phone so big? Doesn't even make sense. Wouldn't it make more sense to have it smaller and look like a Motorola Razr phone and limit the color story to 9 shades of fiery passion turned murder? No? Kid's phone? Sure, makes sense. Last but certainly not least, Kylie Cosmetics released many collections this year, but the one I want to focus on is the birthday collection. And honestly, I'm kind of confused on why this was picked ultimately for the packaging. I'm typically not a fan of the brand owner being on the packaging. It's like, I get it, you're a fucking narcissist. Ooh. We all know you don't need to solidify it. But this is on another level. The palette artwork is the same level as the Mummy porno. Yes, that Mummy, the wonderful romp with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Yes, the favorite movie of Jordan Harris. And yes, I Googled it for reference because it does exist. A Mummy porno does exist, and don't ask why I was looking for it. You're not ready for that. All I'm gonna say is, just when you didn't know what to get someone for Christmas, you're welcome. So when I look at this cover, I personally see no difference. I don't know why they would release an image like this to sell makeup. It's not like they're selling it to horny preteen boys. It doesn't make sense to me. However, I don't know what's more insulting, the over-sexualized imagery of someone who's been caught in Pennywise's deadlights, or the lackluster color story. And maybe that's what they were hoping for. You to be distracted by the packaging, so you didn't realize the color story was so fucking bland. And you know what? In some ways, I feel like I only scratched the surface because there was a lot of ugly shit that came out this year. And we can only hope that 2022 will be filled with more garbage. So let me know down below what has been your favorite ugly releases. Let me know because I love hearing from you. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, it's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, to all my beautiful, wonderful patron bubbies. Thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really filthy, really gross, really just nasty, disgusting garbage boat afloat. I couldn't do without you, and I love your adorable little delicious faces. If you want to know what is currently on my face, because I'm precious, everything will be listed in the description box below. And I'll see you little cupcakes tomorrow. Bye.